Ladies and gentlemen, joining me today is Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev. Needs no introduction. Uh, and he is here with me today to talk about a movement he has started, which he's getting very passionately involved in. And this is not something which he has picked up with such strength earlier, but this time he says that the country needs to free temples, and he's focusing on Tamil Nadu. And he's initiated the movement to free all temples in Tamil Nadu from government control. So, Sadhguru, first of all, pranam to you, namaskar, thank you for your time. First, why free temples? And why specifically are you focusing on Tamil Nadu?
See, one aspect is probably a lot of people in the country itself may not know. Nowhere in the country are there as many and the type of temples that we have in Tamil Nadu. Exquisitely carved out of granite stone, many of them, like 1,000, 2,000-year-old temples. But they're engineering marvels, architecturally they are really phenomenal. And the geometric science behind it and how they were consecrated by great sages, which we cherish because Tamil culture is, marked not with kings and their achievements, largely with saints and sages and siddhas as to what they did. This is how the entire Tamil culture is. As you know, in Tamil Nadu, many towns are referred to as temple towns because these are all towns, or almost every town. First we built the temple, then we built our own homes. This is the nature of this culture. What you call as Tamil temples is the true pride of Dravidian culture. But today, since 1817, since the East India Company took over, after that it went through various modifications, and today our own governments are running this down, just suffocating the temples, all this happening. So it's been in my attention wherever possible, we have put volunteers to clean the place, to take care of it, little bit here and there. Nominal work we've been doing. But in 2020, in the month of July, the Tamil Nadu government, the HR&C ministry, presents in the High Court, they say that 11,999 temples, not a single puja is happening because they have no revenue, they have no revenue. And in 37,000 temples, out of 44,000, 37,000 temples have less than 10,000 income. 34,000 temples have only one person to manage the temple. The puja, the caretaking, the security and the works is one man. And his salary is less than the Manrega minimum wages salary. And he's taking care of something which is worth, the idol, just the idol is worth crores of rupees simply because of its age and its beauty. And then they present that 1,200 deities, not sculptures, sculptures are in thousands, many thousands. Deities, 1,200 deities have been stolen. This is government's own statement. And a police officer writes a book, a retired police officer writes a book, and he says nearly 9,000 deities have been stolen and they've been replaced with fake deities in these temples. Many temples don't have deities, they have put flex pictures and they're still worshipping those flex pictures. This is the state, and when the government made this statement, it's been shocking for me. And then we started looking at it. I asked our volunteers to make videos as to what is the damage that's happened. 1,000 plus videos have come to me. If you see them, it's heart-rending. So out of… this whole movement is not my passion or whatever, out of very deep pain in my heart, I'm doing this. This is a deep anguish, this is an expression of a very deep anguish, looking at the status of the temples. I can send you many videos, I don't know if they have already. You must make the people see this as to what they're doing to ancient culture. This is a systemic running down of an entire culture. This is like they're not doing the pujas, like for example, Rameshwaram temple, which is such a famous temple. The Palguni puja, Rudra puja that used to happen just a few days ago in the Parnami, they don't do it. You know why? The EO gets transferred, the executive officer, government officer gets transferred. And in the handing over, he doesn't hand over to the next one properly. So they don't do the puja which has been going on for hundreds of years. Like this, any number of discrepancies, basically you're running a temple which is a subjective dimension of the, Tamil people. In a way, you run the government office.
How, if government control goes away, Sadhguru, how will the corruption and the loot be prevented?
See, one thing is, this question and everybody's statements about temples is, when you say temple, people talk about property, people talk about gold, people talk about revenue. No, for me, temple means it's the soul of our culture. This is what we're trying to protect. Now, all the gold and diamonds that could be taken, Her Majesty's service took it and went away. All right, that's an old thing, you can't fix it now. After that, whatever was left during the government era, a whole lot of it has been taken. Many people are saying the gold ornaments in many temples are actually fake, that it's only gold plated, the gold has been taken away, this is what they say anyway. It's not for me to say this because I can neither prove it nor disprove it right now. But it's good to test it. All I am asking is, let us have an external audit. What is what about the temple? Now you ask, how will you prevent the corruption? So essentially what you're saying is that 87% of the population which belongs to this community, where the temple should be, you believe that all of them are corrupt, you won't find one person with the needed competence or integrity to manage these temples, you won't find a handful of people to do this. When all the other religions, whether it's Islam, Christianity, Sikhs, Jains, everybody can manage their temples, only Hindus are so corrupt that they cannot manage the temples. The next thing that people will say, let me go one step and say this, everybody says, oh, if you do this, it'll go into the hands of Brahmins. They will again exploit you, they will do this. See, let's understand the structure of this society. In this society, different duties in the society were given to different people, which over a period of time became a caste system and many things happened. So when it comes to Brahmins, education, knowledge keeping and perpetuating that, temples, spirituality was all entrusted to them. Well, they did become corrupt, they did become exploitative, they did become discriminatory, to a point almost it became like an apartheid, that untouchability, other things were bred out of that. But today, we have laws in the country that you cannot practice such things. These things happened when there were no such laws. Today we have clear-cut laws that all citizens in this country are equal. Now the question is, who has the competence? How can you allow this person, that person? I am saying, for example, right from ancient times, if you have to be in the army, you have to be a Kshatriya. Now you know that entire story, Mahabharata, Karna wanted to join the army, but he's not a Kshatriya, so nobody will teach him armaments and stuff, how to use it. So the discriminatory process that was there, it was just everybody protecting their professions, their livelihoods. This is what it is, we misinterpret in so many different ways. But today, irrespective of your caste or religion, if you train yourself in the necessary institution, you can join the Indian Army or no. Similarly, why can't we set up institutions where we can train people for different temples, what type of rituals and stuff they need, irrespective of who you are. If you have passion, see, if you want to be in the army, one thing is you have devotion for your country, to a point where you will be willing to lay down your life if it comes to that. And another thing is a skill. Skill is a question of training. If you have the devotion, skill can be given to you. The same thing goes for the temple. If you have the devotion for the deity, skill can be given to you. Right now, there are people there who have no devotion for the deity, it's just a job. How can you keep a temple alive when there is no devotee? Without a devotee, where is a temple, I'm asking?
I understand, but you're talking about government control. Can you explain how the government's controlling it?
See, government is controlling everything in the country, that is not the problem. You can control the temple also as you control business, this, that, everything is controlled by the government, by the law. That is not the issue. This is governed by the government. Subjectivity of the Hindu community is governed by the government, administered by the government. They have no right to administer and govern the temple. They can always regulate. That's a different matter.
There'll have to be an alternative mechanism or a structure. When you say free from government control, someone else must take over. It can't be without other controls. So do you have something in mind or what that structure will be which gives back the temples in the hands of the people or the devotees?
I have many options as to how it can be done, but what I'm saying is, right now, pre-election time, all I'm asking them to do is, one thing is, create an external audit within the first 6 months of forming the government. And within the first 1 year, set up a commission with constitution experts, local, the experts in the Agama Shastra and the temple procedures, and let us go through an entire process as to how the handover should happen. I know the complexity of the issue. It is not something that you can do just like that overnight. But to put it simply, see, if somebody says, I want to get married, then we talk about who will you marry, where will you marry, how will you marry. First you don't say you want to marry, then what are we discussing about where to marry and what to serve in the wedding?
So you're saying first let us come to a fundamental agreement that it needs to be given back to the devotees, right? And one question… First show the intent. How are political parties and others responding? They're important stakeholders in this. You'll need to take them along. Are they not asking you, Sadhguru, why are you taking this? Why are you pushing this? What is their response to you?
See, as it is with so many things in our country, if we say we need a baby, somebody delivers half a baby and they think it's half a solution. Half a baby is not a solution of any kind. Half a baby is a big nuisance. Right now they give you increments. They say, okay, we'll give you 1,000 crores. Okay, we will give you pilgrimage allowances. So they said, we will give you pilgrimage, 25,000 for Hindus, 1 lakh Hindus will give you, you can go on a pilgrimage. For us, walking from our home to the temple is our pilgrimage. You are giving pilgrimage allowance to minorities because their pilgrimage is outside the country. So they have to make a foreign trip, either to Arabia or to Jerusalem. They're not able to bear those costs, so you are giving them an allowance, it's fine with us. But why are you giving allowance to me? I don't need allowance, I want my temple to be alive. Right now, you're converting all temples into museums, badly maintained museums, that's what it is. They're just crumbling all over the place. I'm telling you, such work of art. See, you must understand this. These are all over 1,000-year-old temples. This is a time when there were no machines, there were no trucks, no cranes. But the way they moved these rocks, the way they engineered them, way they carved them, granite is the hardest rock to carve. They did this. What kind of people are these? These are people who are so fired with passion, they did not build great homes for themselves. They lived in thatch-roofed huts, but they built this kind of temple because that's the kind of passion that created this temple. If you want these temples to be alive, you need people who have that kind of passion for the deity and the temple, otherwise it'll be just a building. Right now, you're trying to manage it like a government monument.
What is the role of the Archaeological Survey of India in this? Do you think they don't have a role? Or do you think it's…
In a few significantly large temples, ASI or Archaeological Survey of India has come in. Where they have come in, generally, they definitely do a way better job than the state governments in maintaining the structure. But Archaeological Survey cannot manage our spiritual process, right? They can manage the structure. If the structure is considered like a heritage kind of stuff, then they're maintaining the structure, fine, they can always do that. Even if it is in the hands of the devotees, still Archaeological Survey being there will be a great thing. We are not against Archaeological Survey of India because that is a different kind of expertise, that's all. But they cannot manage the temple process itself, they can only manage the building.
Sadhguru, you have also spoken about the Madurai Meenakshi temple. How the 400-year-old mandapam was burned down in a fire caused by negligence. Now, how do you think devotee involvement can change that?
See, right now this fire happens, just tell me, Arnab, a completely stone building. Columns are stone, flooring is stone, the ceiling is stone, everything is stone. How do you make a stone catch fire, please tell me? Can you do it? Even if you put petrol and burn it, it won't burn, I'm saying. First of all, this is happening because anybody can do anything in government property. Out of 5 lakh acres of land, today 47,000 acres of land, government is saying has been occupied by somebody. Now they are trying to make a settlement. What is the settlement? Because somebody has occupied it for more than 5 years, we will give it to them. Fortunately, High Court, the Madras High Court stopped this. And in the last 10 years, if you look at the many rulings of Madras High Court, they have indicted the government so harshly to a point where they've gone about saying that if you don't fix this, we will abolish the HR and CE law.
Sadhguru, people will get very involved with this. This issue, I feel, however, is not going to eventually be restricted to Tamil Nadu temples. You are right about the commercialization of temples, but in various parts of the country, there are temples in the northeast of India, east, various temples which are relics by themselves, but which are not given any care. Do you have any intentions to make this national?
See, of all the state laws that we have looked at, Tamil Nadu has the most draconian law in place. So if it is get relaxed here, the domino effect in the rest of the country is bound to happen and the center is bound to act upon this. Right now, it is not a question of any one political party. All political parties in their areas of administration they're doing the same thing in different levels of intensity. So right now, 101 crores is the salary for administration and other things. 3 crores per year. For 44,000 temples, 3 crores is the temple upkeep yearly. You know how well their upkeep is happening.
So how can people contribute to this? When you free the temple, how can people create a corpus?
See, one important thing is, I did not just talk about temples, I wanted to change the narrative of way the democracy is conducted in the country. When I say narrative about democracy is conducted in the country, I said 5 things. Like I was in a place during the Makar Sankranti, we were just having a festival. One young man stood up and shouted at me a question. And he said, "Sadhguru, who should I vote for?" I said, "See, I'm not going to tell you who you should vote for. I don't even tell my daughter who she should vote for. I tell you as a in a democratic country, it's your business to educate yourself who is doing what. Who should you give a chance for the next 5 years? Who is the best or who is at least the lesser evil? You must decide this by yourself, not because I tell you. But now that you're asking this, I said, see, in my mind, there are 5 things that I want to happen in Tamil Nadu. One thing is, right now, for 5 months in a year, Kaveri is drying up 175 kilometers inland. I said, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka should get together, set up a scientific committee. All the facts are there, we know everything, but you won't go by us. You set up a scientific committee, if necessary an international committee, and what should we do to make Kaveri flow for 12 months? Please do this in the first 3 months after you get elected, whoever you are. Next thing is, there is education. We are still in the literacy mode. There are nearly 1 million children in government schools. Literally, it's just basic literacy and a little bit of reading, writing, that's about it. If you want high-quality education, if you want next generation of Tamil youth to be properly employed and capable of going anywhere in the world and doing what they have to do, then you need a higher level of education. I said they are spending approximately 34,000 plus per student in terms of managing the entire government institutions of schools, education department, the ministry and everything. See, I said 34,000 rupees you are spending. If you give me this 34,000 rupees or anybody, there are many people who can do this, we will provide highest level of education for Tamil children. It doesn't matter in how remote a village they are. Now, what about the poor people? For poor people, you pay the fee. Instead of paying salaries to somebody, you pay the fee for the poor children who cannot afford. Another thing is, right now, we are always talking jobs. I said, why are you talking jobs? If Tamil youth don't have jobs, you should not give them job. You must give them skill training that they will be valuable anywhere in the world. So, I said 28 districts you have. In every district, you set up one skill development, not by the government. We don't want a governmental skill development. There are countries like Japan, Germany, Czechoslovakia, where they have immense amount of technology and capability, but they don't have young people. They are all aging populations. If you invite them, they will come and do it for you, they will be too happy because this will also be a catchment for their industries and their economic development, they will come. So just create these 5 things and that is free the temples. These are the 5 things I said.
Other things will also pick up, because eventually
No, everybody is
what you
talking
are
about…
talking about is
No,
very
everybody is
significant.
talking about free saree, free television, free, everything free. Everything, anything free means it hurts me because after all, it's a taxpayer's money which is going free.
No, that's so true. And I saw your presentation where you said that the East India Company seized the temples for their land and revenue. And today is almost, next year is the 75th year after independence. The government must free the temples. So I think it's good. What I like about your thoughts is that you think about everything at a very grand and large scale. And I think that the community, devotees, will respect temples and will manage it. And I think you're sitting on something which is all the greed and neglect, the combination of selfishness is the reasons why temples are dying. We can't afford that. Sadhguru, tell me, how can people across the country join the movement to free Tamil Nadu temples?
This is a pre-election time. This is why I asked for missed call and in some way to participate. As of now, we have about 26 million, that is 2.6 crore people who have given us missed call in the last 15 days or so, since we started this. Now, very easily we know before election it'll cross 3.5 to 4 crores, it'll go somewhere there. Out of an electorate which is less than 5 crores, if you get 3 crore people to say, this is what we want, I don't understand how anybody who values democracy can just ignore that. So this is what I'm banking on, and apart from the Tamil people who are participating right now largely, if the rest of India also responds and makes this 10 crore, then I think the whole country will listen.
Why not? It's our national heritage. And it causes us a lot of pain to see that people who do not respect our culture will trade in it. Your team also informed us that there are American art dealers who have hundreds of millions of dollars of our art stolen from our temples.
Yes.
For them, they would probably appreciate the aesthetics of it, but not the spirit behind it. So it's very sad that…
See, one Nataraja statue, which is a deity in a temple, in a local village in Tamil Nadu, gets stolen, goes to America. There it gets sold for $5.1 million. From there it goes to Canberra in Australia. And after the Prime Minister made some effort, the Australian government returns it to us. Now what the Tamil Nadu government does is, keeps this idol in a museum. And the temple, I've got pictures of this, actually a flex cutting of Nataraja, they've pasted it and they're worshipping that.
It's very unfortunate.
This is a systemic killing of an entire culture of a certain community, which is the basis of Bharat.
And it's not just that. I mean, I'm told gold has been stolen from consecrated idols. So it's horrifying. So I believe that Sadhguru, the first and most important thing is to raise awareness and awakening. But sometimes we need a jolt in this. I thought that when the Madurai Meenakshi Mandapam was destroyed, we should have thought about it. But even so, people did not think. And I wish you all the best. And if there's anything that the Republic Media Network can do to strengthen this campaign, do let us know. I think this conversation itself will be a starter, I think.
I will send you many videos of how temples are in different states of dilapidation. If you can show it to the people, it'll be good. People's heart must… your heart should bleed, otherwise you won't act, most people. Unfortunately, people don't act out of love, they act out of pain most of the time.
Yes, Sadhguru, very happy to be associated and to support this. I wish you all the best. My pranam to you. And I hope the message goes out to everyone about the need to free the temples, starting with Tamil Nadu, but perhaps across the country. Thank you. Thank you, Sadhguru.
Namaskaram. Thank you very much.